Altoona 6th Street, you'll come across Rygard's gas station, which proclaims itself as America's oldest gas station, having been pumping gas continuously since 1909. That said, there's some disputes to this claim, and there's some qualifiers that need to go up. For starters, some state that Rygard's is not America's oldest gas station, and that it isn't even Pennsylvania's oldest. That designation goes to a former Gulf refinery station which opened by the intersection of Pittsburgh's Baum Boulevard and St. Clair Streets in late 1913. How could this now extinct station claim this title though, and the state placard, despite Rygard's being 4 years older? When Rygard's started selling gasoline, they were actually a blacksmith shop. Such shops were still pretty commonplace in the early days of automobiles, and in those burgeoning years, people filled their tanks at general stores, blacksmith shops, and even sidewalk pharmacy vendors. The Gulf Station on Baum Boulevard was Pittsburgh's first purpose-built gas station, in fact the first modern station, and with its pagoda-like structure, it was actually the first such modern gas station in all of America. Unfortunately, the site is now a parking lot, and I'm not exactly sure when the station was torn down, but some people I've spoken to in the East Liberty neighborhood of Pittsburgh point to the late 1960s. So, Rygard's, out back in Altoona now, they were a blacksmith shop, and the site actually dates back to the late 1800s. In 1904, a man named George Hinkle began selling kerosene and oil on the site. 5 years later, he began the regular sale of gasoline, which he pumped from barrels that came right off the trains that ran behind the cinder block structure. Samuel Rygard purchased the site from Hinkle in 1921. He himself, an oil merchant since the 1880s, and in fact was Hinkle's dealer. The Rygard family ran the gas station from 1921 until they sold it to the Martin Oil Company of Bellwood, Pennsylvania in 1978. So Rygard's may not be the first architecturally designed automotive purpose gas station in the United States, but it is the site of the longest running filling station in the United States, though I little doubt that even that could be argued by another such place. But still, Rygard's was run by the Rygard family until 1978, and though it's still known as Rygard's, they're owned by the Martin Oil Company. They're still a full-service gas station, which itself is a pretty rare thing. In 1917, Pennsylvania had less than 10 gas stations in the modern sense of the term. By the stock market crash of 1929, there were more gas stations in the United States than there are today, by nearly a quarter. This is despite the fact that there were significantly fewer cars on the roads, and in those days, there was a diversity of fuel types. For example, some vehicles were electric, some were alcohol, others ran on water, or steam more precisely. Stanley Steamer is still a well-known brand, though not so much for automobiles these days. So there's the story of the Lost Gulf Refinery Station, America's oldest, though no longer existent, modern gas station. And there's the story too of Rygard's, even though it might not be the oldest, as across the states, as mentioned earlier, gasoline was sold at various hardware stores, sidewalk pumps, and Rygard's, basically anybody who could pump or had a barrel of gasoline, you could buy gasoline from. Rygard's beats them all though, because it has been selling gasoline on that site continuously since 1909. The current owners of the site, the Martin Oil Company, is committed to keeping it open, and there have been several offers to purchase the site with the intention of demolishing it. The Martin Oil Company, citing a responsibility to the preservation of history, continue to operate the station, and I implore you that if you find yourself in Altoona, you bypass our much beloved Sheetz and Get-Go's and head down the street to Rygard's, especially in the winter because it's a full service station and it gets cold out there.